My name's Chuck Peterson. This is Jimmy Walker. We just decided to get on a website and get organized. And I want to first thank you all for taking the time to come out today. The Constitution begins with "We the people of the United States." Today we see that as evidenced by all of us coming out here for this grassroots movement. We the people have a voice. The Founding Fathers identified themselves as "we the people" when they wrote that great document 200 plus years ago. I quote Teddy Roosevelt, who said, "Do what you can with what you have where you are." That is what we are doing here today, doing what we can with the skills and talents and freedoms we have where we are right now. We the people, we talked about these bailouts. Well, guess who's paying for it? We the people are paying for these bailouts. Since this Tea Party movement is about fewer taxes, it falls into place, in my mind, that less government is also implied. Thomas Jefferson said, "A wise and frugal government which shall leave men free to regulate their own pursuits of industry and improvement, and shall not take from the mouth of labor the bread it has earned. This is the sum of good government." Ronald Reagan said, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on to them to do the same. It's for that reason I'm here today, for my family and friends." We must use this. This can't be the end here, this Tea Party. We have to use this as an impetus to keep going, to not vote for these same guys we've had over and over and over again, to recycle stuff. But without further ado, I would like to thank you again and introduce our keynote speaker, Les Riley. Les is foremost a God-fearing, devoted family man. From his own website, he is a sinner saved by grace. Married for 20 years to Christy, he has 11 children, 2 in the hands of the Lord. Children are Abigail, Grace, and 1 we barely knew. 9 that the Lord has entrusted us to keep here and raise to his glory. Emily, Trey is here, Jacob, Hannah, Ben, Sarah, Joy, Annie, Lou, and Mercy. Les is very active in the pro-life movement. Les is an 8th generation Mississippian. He is involved in his local church, which is Christ Community in New Albany, and is active in the Constitution Party of Mississippi, which he has served as a chairman over the last 15 years. I'm personally honored to have him speak for us here. Les?
We don't have a PA system, so if y'all can't hear, just come on in a little closer. I've had a sore throat for a few days, so I apologize if it's a little strained. I want to welcome all y'all to one of the many efforts across the sovereign state of Mississippi and in these United States to defend democracy. Or is it? What exactly is democracy? Well, democracy is when 2 wolves and a sheep get together and vote on what they're going to have for supper. Democracy is when 3 people are on a desert island and they take a vote on which one of the 3 is going to do all the work and serve the other 2. Democracy is when a nation elects by a majority a Hitler or a Stalin or a Mugabe. Democracy is when murder is illegal in December because 51% of the people think it should be so, and legal in January because that elusive 2% of the mushy middle has changed their position. They were watching MTV rather than being an educated elector. Democracy, very germane to why we're here today, is when 51% of the people can vote to take the property of the 49% who work for it. Alexander Tetler wrote in the Athenian Republic several years before America's independence, democracy cannot exist as a permanent form of government. It can only exist until the people learn they can vote themselves largesse from the public treasury. Or in other words, they can take money and benefit for themselves from the public treasury. Then they will always vote for those who give the most benefit, and democracies always collapse because of loose fiscal policy. While they had many disagreements, America's founders were in agreement about their concerns about what they call the excesses of democracy, which is why they did not give us a democracy. What did they give us? Well, Ben Franklin, when he left the Constitutional Convention, was asked by a lady on the street, what kind of government did you give us? And he said, a republic, if you can keep it. Simply stated, we were given a constitutional, democratic republic built on biblical principles and what used to be known as ordered liberty. A pure democracy is the rule of men. A representative republic is the rule of law. A pure democracy is no more than mob rule, in which the rights of the minority are disregarded. But in a representative republic, majority rules, but the rights of the minority are protected. In a pure democracy, the passions of the masses can be used by the most shrewd, ruthless, corrupt, and manipulative in society, so that a handful of would-be elitists, feigning compassion, can increase their own power using the promise of public money so that the people will vote for their own enslavement. Democracies reward politicians. Republics promote statesmen. Why are we here? We're here to ask ourselves a question. We are here to answer Mr. Franklin's challenge. A republic, if you can keep it. Can we, will we keep the last vestiges of the constitutional republic that has been passed down to us? Or better asked, will we muster the courage to reclaim and restore the republic we have lost? In a sense, we are counter-revolutionaries here today. Thomas Jefferson, as has been mentioned, and I'll mention Jefferson several times today, stated that all governments rule by the consent of the governed. If this is true, then why have the majority of the people in human history not been free? Why have we and our neighbors consistently voted away our liberty? Because liberty is risky. Liberty is hard. Slavery is easy. Somebody tells you what to do, when to do it, when to get up, when to lay down, what parts of the road you can drive on, what you can do with your property, how you can raise your children, how you can spend your money, where you can work. Liberty gives us the freedom to fail. Liberty gives us the freedom to go broke. Liberty gives us the right to be poor. And since liberty gives us the right to think and speak, liberty gives us the right to be wrong and make fools of ourselves. Liberty gives us the right, while we are equal in our creation and equal before the law, liberty gives us the right to end up with unequal results. A republic, if you can keep it. Well, who am I? Well, Chuck already mentioned, I'm a sinner saved by grace. I'm a husband and a father. I'm an 8th generation Mississippian. I ran for office as a Republican. I left the Republican Party and joined the Constitution Party. I've been a candidate for Commissioner of Agriculture on the Constitution Party. And for the last several months, I've been working on the Mississippi Personhood Amendment. And this all relates. I'll tell you how later. And if it were not for the work of Christ in my life, I would be one of the people you're here protesting against. My family has produced elected officials in Mississippi for over 100 years. I have the connections, I have the pedigree that I could be one of those people taking your liberty. Don't get me wrong, I'm proud of my family and I'm proud of my heritage. I'm thankful for them. But I also understand myself and the work of grace in my life. And if were it not for that, I'd be one of those trying to take freedom. A republic, if you can keep it. Well, what does all this God talk I'm doing and all this pie in the sky philosophy have to do with an anti-tax rally? Everything. It has been said that if you don't know where you're going, any train will get you there.